Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let me put my hat on, and let's get this started. Alright, first question. Jason, you did a video about adaptation to cardio over time, with the adjustment to the cardio being maybe 100 calories over a 6-month period. I would assume this is because you were hoping to be losing weight, and the new calculation for calories burned would be because of the lower body weight. I was wondering how much the body will adapt to incline walking cardio when done on a bulk every day for general heart health. If you're not in a caloric deficit and your weight isn't going down, like you're worried about you're going to burn less total calories, no, I don't think you're going to adapt in that way. People will maybe over time, if they're maintaining the same body weight, doing X amount of cardio at X amount of intensity or whatever, it's going to burn a certain amount of calories, and over time it might reduce a little bit. But in the case of someone who's bulking, I think over time you're not going to see a significant shift downward at all, because you might adapt to it slightly and burn slightly less calories because your body becomes more efficient at it, but you still have to burn calories to move. I mean, you can't move or do resistance without using energy. It's impossible. That's why people laughed at all those metabolic damage claims that Norton made with his clients, like it was been proven to be biologically impossible by a medical doctor. A medical doctor broke that down, the math behind it, and laughed at it. Said what he's saying is biologically impossible. Laws of biology don't allow for it. But because any small adaptation, small amounts of calories, but you're bulking and you gain 7 or 8 pounds of body weight over time, right, on a bulk, that will offset that. You're not going to burn less calories as a result. And I think that's a good idea. Doing overall just cardio of any type when you're bulking, I think, is a very good idea for your heart health. I don't recommend at this point in the game, as someone who's become a lot more health conscious with what I do personally and what I put out online. I think bulking, if you're bulking at all, keeping your cardiovascular conditioning up is a very, very, very good idea. In fact, I wouldn't recommend anyone not do it. All right, next question. You never talked about your long distance running days. How was it, and how long you run for, especially why you quit, who got you into it, and why did you do it? I was doing it just to improve my cardio. I started distance running in high school, and there's been a lot of stupid stuff online, like people claiming that I said I competed on the cross-country team in high school or something, and it's like, I never said such a thing. You guys got to remember, people always accuse me of stuff online that I didn't actually say. They extrapolate and make assumptions. It's like saying, I did distance running. Oh, you said you ran in the Olympics. I said I helped some college athletes and stuff. Oh, you said you work with professional athletes. Oh, college isn't professional. You just got to remember, guys, people come up with crazy stuff. No, I didn't run on a team for school. I picked up distance running just to get in shape. Through high school, I was doing martial arts and things. The only thing I was competing in high school level, when I was a teenager, the only sport I competed in was distance shooting. I did precision rifle shooting competitively all through my teens. I started doing that when I was 13. But as far as running goes, no, I did it just to get into better shape. I was doing martial arts. I'm very, very prone to overeating. You guys know that. I mean, is that a surprise for anyone? I don't think it is. I like to eat a lot, and I always have. I found that I just wasn't able to eat food I wanted to maintain a good body weight. I started gaining weight, so I got into the running to improve my cardio and lose some weight. I got back out of it at a certain point early in my adult life, like I think before 20. I got out of the distance running a couple of times, and I found that every time I stopped doing it because of my insane appetite, I would stack on 40 or 50 pounds really, really, really fast. So I would pick it back up to lose weight, and every time I would go back into it, I would lose 50 pounds really fast. And I mean, again, within a couple of months, 2 to 3 months, and people say that's not healthy. Well, it's just that I burned that much more calories. I would drop 40 or 50 pounds every time I started running again. But as far as what did I do with it, I ran a couple half marathons. I did 1 marathon. That's all I did. I got up and ran every day. For me, distance running meant I used to get up every morning and run 5 miles first thing in the morning. First thing every morning before the sun was up. And then some days I would go up to 10 miles or whatever every now and then. Like maybe once a week I'd run about 10 miles. And then I'd go do, like I said, I did a few half marathons. I did 1 full marathon. It wasn't a big deal. But that was the thing. I always got really good at it really quick. And when I quit doing it, I gained weight really, really fast. And I don't even remember the reasons here and there too much to get into, guys. That was a long, long time ago. We're talking about stuff from my early adulthood and teenage years. I'm 40 years old. So again, expecting me to remember the specifics of why I did it and why I quit here or there. Who the hell knows? I don't even remember. Alright, next question. Hi, you said once that thyroid or related issues can be overcome by adjusting a few hundred calories plus or minus depending on whether hypo or hyper. But are there no other factors here possibly impacting recovery? If we look at the symptoms of hypothyroidism, for example, there are many bad ones. Yeah, no. I wasn't talking about the overall health benefits. I was talking about the weight on the scale. Because people use thyroid as an excuse for either being really skinny or really overweight, and it's not true. When people are hyperthyroid or hypothyroid, meaning they have thyroid that's way out of whack, like is an actual diagnosable medical issue, we are only talking about 200 to 300 calories a day difference. So someone with a really, really high thyroid, they only burn about 200 to 300 more calories than they should for their body weight and activity. Someone who's hypothyroidism, slow thyroid, same thing. They just need to eat 200 less calories than someone else and they'll stop gaining weight. That's it. Now, there are other medical issues involved, and that's way too much to get into in a Q&A, but are there medical issues and health issues with them? Yes, there are. I'm not telling people not to go get these treated by a doctor. If you have either one of these, you need to be treated by a medical doctor. All right? But your weight gain itself is still completely and 100% controllable through calories, because it still works on calories in, calories out, and it's usually less than at most a 10% difference in your metabolism because of a thyroid issue up or down. And that's reality. That's been shown in the metabolic world. So there you have it. All right, next question. Hi Jason, I'm 5'6", 175 pounds. I squat 275, deadlift 305, bench 170. I know my bench falls behind. My goal is to be 165 and meet your strength standards. However, when I look at charts, they say I'm entering into intermediate at my current strength. Should I continue with your cutting novice program or switch to an intermediate program of sorts? I started untrained in 270 to 280 pounds, so thanks for advice. You really paved the way for me. All right, so let me get this right. You've lost 100 pounds on my program, well, on the cutting version. You're now squatting 275, deadlifting 305, benching 170. That's pretty solid. That's pretty impressive. I'm glad you stuck this program out. What I would say as far as switching to another program from my novice to an intermediate, like with any other novice program, when it quits working, switch. Meaning you've got another 10 pounds to lose. When you get to a point to where you go an entire month on my program and your lifts, none of your lifts go up. Your 275 deadlift or squat doesn't turn into 280. Your 170 bench isn't 175. After about 4 or 5 weeks, it's fair to say that my progression is too aggressive for you. It might be time to switch to an intermediate program. That's what I would base it on personally. All right, next question. Is it possible to be good at conventional deadlifts with horrible leverages? Short arms, long torso, long femurs, and how? Mainly doing sumo at the moment. Of course it's possible to be good at it. You might have to move the weight 4 more inches, 5 more inches. But is that the end of the world? No. You might lift less. Yeah, a guy with longer arms and shorter femurs than you, someone like me, might deadlift more than you with the same body weight, same muscle mass. He might deadlift 50 more pounds than you. You might get to a certain point, if you train side by side with him on the same program, he's probably going to hit a 550 deadlift when you hit a 500. But have people gotten to 600-pound deadlifts who have the wrong proportions? Yes, they have. Have guys gotten to 650-pound deadlifts who have the wrong proportions for a perfect conventional deadlift? Yes, they have. So to answer the question, is it possible? Well, plenty of people have done it. When people have successfully done something, it is possible. And so the answer is yeah, of course they have. Is it going to be a little harder? Is it going to be a little slower for you? Yes, it is. But it's still possible to get very good at the conventional deadlift with the wrong leverages. It's just you're not going to be quite as good at it as someone with better leverages. Someone who's got to move the bar 4 less inches, let's be honest, they're going to lift 50 more pounds than you. With the same amount of muscle, with the same amount of training experience. Work longer, work harder, be more consistent. You'll get there eventually. All right, next question. Would I lose any strength/hypertrophy benefits if I trained all my exercises for explosiveness out of the bottom? No, why would you? Most exercises are improving your starting strength, improving the weakest part of the lift, which is usually the bottom pausing there, will recruit slightly more muscle fibers with the same amount of weight. So if you're recruiting muscle fibers, are you going to lose hypertrophy? Meaning if you selected a variation or a way to conduct an exercise that requires you to recruit more muscle fibers with the same amount of weight, or if you decrease the weight to still recruit the same number, how are you going to lose hypertrophy if you're recruiting maximum amounts of muscle fibers? How is that possible? It's not, unless you're starving yourself. As far as strength, the same thing. Plenty of coaches out there have people go to completely pause bench, reducing their arch and even close grip pause bench in the off season between meets, and then sometimes their bench press goes up 20 or 25 pounds when they peak for the next meet. People train that way all the time and improve their maxes in powerlifting. So no, you shouldn't have any negatives at all. It should be fine. You should be able to, in fact, it should be possible for you to continue to make gains. As long as progressive overload is there, when you're using a solid training style like that, you should always expect the opposite. You shouldn't expect to lose muscle or lose strength. You should expect to increase them. Your size and your overall strength should improve from doing that, as long as progressive overload and proper training programming, nutrition, and sleep are there. Okay, you're going to gain size and strength. You shouldn't be worried about losing them. All right, that's all the normal questions. I got a couple of off-topic questions I'm just going to go ahead and grab as we close into the final bit of this 30 minutes of Q&As. Next one's political. This is not my political channel, but you know what the hell, I haven't answered a politics type question in a long time. So yes, voter ID law, should it be a law and enforced? Voter ID, should it be law and enforced? Only in America could people come up with the idea that it's okay and should be legal for people to vote in national level elections without producing an ID. Do you know how insane that is? Only in America could we come up with something so insane and so stupid and have it pushed through. In fact, I'd go so far as to say the fact that any place that doesn't check IDs, we need to disregard their votes, because that allows for voter fraud, it allows for cheating. And the idea that it's been claimed that forcing people to have an ID on them when they vote for a president, or vote for Congress, or vote for senators, that having an ID on them requiring it is racist, is the most stupid, absurd argument I've ever heard. And honestly, I think anyone who is a politician who's pushed a law into place claiming that should probably be charged with treason and voter fraud. They need to be in prison. They're a criminal. All right, that's insane. Absolutely insane. And the fact that anyone believes that shows how stupid people really are. Requiring an ID to vote for president is racist. And then people wonder why we scream about voter fraud. Why everyone does on both sides. Both sides of the fence, they scream about voter fraud and cheating and rigged elections. Because no one has confidence in an election system that doesn't even require you to have an ID to vote. Wow. I mean, that allows for millions of fake votes to be done. It allows for wide-scale voter fraud for anyone who chooses to do it. All right, next question and last question of the week. If you and Elgintensity were to have a one-on-one slap boxing match, who would win? All right, we're going to do this hypothetical because I'm not doing a stupid slap boxing match with anybody, but I'm going to take the question at face value. If somehow I was forced into a slap boxing match, like aliens kidnapped me and dropped me into a cage match, unarmed, no weapons, I only have to do the slap boxing because I've been abducted. All right, who would win? I'm going to go out on a limb and say Elgin's clever. I think Elgin would win, and here's how I think he would win. I would probably get ready to slap boxing, and Elgin would jump up and do his traps of fear, and I would probably start laughing. After all, we're only going to slap box, no one's really going to get hurt. Then he would pull out his tiny penis next to distract me, and I would probably fall on the ground laughing so hard that he would gain initiative and run over and slap box me probably 10 or 15 times before I quit laughing. And he would definitely win by virtue of his small penis. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.